Thank you guys for joining us today. This is our last class
2018.
for 2018, so thanks for spending it with us.
Yeah.
We have some great recipes, some great tips, great theme today, and yeah, let's have some fun.
Yeah. So the holidays are here. We're going to be discussing holiday cooking made easy specifically for caregivers. But sure enough, all these tips could be used for anyone, whether you're caring for a loved one or a family or friend, because the holiday season can be busy, which is great. And many of us associate it with lots of meal planning, baking, entertaining. But of course, for caregivers, this could sometimes be a little bit overwhelming on top of the other kind of caregiver responsibilities. So in today's class, we're really going to focus on some tips that caregivers could use to help the people they're caring for, but also for themselves, right? So it's kind of a duo thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first recipe that we're looking at is specifically around like kind of smells. So some patients are sensitive to different types of smells like onions, garlic, cabbage, and it sometimes could make it difficult for the patient to be around, and this could enhance kind of the nausea feeling or vomiting, which can be caused from medications or radiation or any type of treatment. So we're going to focus on a specific technique today in order to kind of trap those smells and kind of to decrease those aromas.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to do, actually this was a request as well from someone who wanted a turkey dish, something with turkey in it. Yeah. But also, I mean, around the holiday time, that can be a lot of work. The holiday cooking already, just running around, but the turkey itself, maybe if you're doing it for one person or two people, or it's a small family, maybe you don't want a massive turkey. So we wanted to come up with a dish where it has the elements of that festive nature in it. It has some turkey in it, but it's a little smaller, a little bit more manageable, and then taking into account the aromas as well. How do we contain that? So we're gonna make, we call it Involtini in Italian. You can also call this roulade in French, or a roll in English. Maybe there's a better term, but we're using turkey, and we're gonna make these little stuffed little turkey parcels, packages. You can do this with anything. So involtini, roulade, roll, they can apply to vegetables. You can do this with eggplant, you can do this with zucchini, you can do this with chicken. Anything that sort of has like a nice surface to roll, a nice thin surface, and it will roll easily, will work. So we're doing turkey today. And what I've done is I've just used turkey breast, and I've just, with a knife, just sliced it into like little thin cutlets. You can buy these like this already done as well. So whichever way you want to do it, but you're looking at something about half a centimeter thick. If it's a little thick or it's uneven in areas, you can always pound it down with a little mallet or like a rolling pin on some plastic wrap, and then it'll thin it out, even it out a little bit. All right, so turkey's here. Before I get to the turkey, I'm going to start with our stuffing. So for our stuffing, we're gonna put some other fun festive elements in there. So we have Brussels sprouts. Everyone loves Brussels sprouts, right? Some nods, no, all right. This is a nice way actually to try Brussels sprouts. So what I'm doing is I just wash it, peel the outer leaves off, and then just run your knife across. So I cut it in half and just run my knife across and sort of shaves it into these nice little strands. You can do this with even a food processor or a grater or a mandolin if you have it as well. But it's pretty simple. Yeah,
and this is a great way because we're going to stuff the turkey with it. It's a great way to add in vegetables to the meal, right? So kind of getting that all-in-one package.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we have some shaved Brussels sprouts. Pretty straightforward, right? Nothing else in there, just the Brussels sprouts. I'm going to add some walnuts to that as well. So just roughly chop up the walnuts. You don't have to add nuts. Again, this is my stuffing. You can add whatever
And walnuts are a great thing to add to any dish. We know that they're high in omega-3s, which is an essential fatty acid that our bodies can't make. Okay, it also helps lower the bad cholesterol, so that LDL cholesterol. And so it's really important for heart health. So, you know, although all nuts are great, they're all high in unsaturated fats, which are those good fats that you want. Adding in those walnuts is going to give you that boost of omega-3s that your body can't make.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
For sure, you could use any nut, right?
Yeah, any nuts, almonds, seeds. Yeah, absolutely, whatever you want. It's just going to add some nice texture to it as well. So here's some walnuts. I'm going to add some dried apricots. So bringing some of that festive piece to it, a little bit of sweetness to there. You can add cranberries. Dried cranberries would be really good. Maybe don't put the whole fruit cake inside, but you can do this with stuffing. Like if you have some extra, just like that bread stuffing, you can add some of that as well. I'm going to add a little bit of cheese because it's delicious and it's going to give us a lot of flavor. What I would recommend is go for one of the sharper cheeses. Do something like a Parmesan cheese, or this is a Pecorino cheese, just because you're going to get a lot more flavor. There's a lot more bang for your buck, I think, in terms of flavor. And we definitely want to season it. We want a lot of flavor inside of there. So
just on the side note, other than the cheese, the other things that we're using for the stuffing can, for someone who's experiencing diarrhea, these are things that are high in fiber and might not be so easily kind of digested for them. So for sure, you could always choose other vegetables in order to stuff whatever you're making with that are more easy on the stomach for those who are experiencing any digestive issues.
All right, lemon zest. We're going to get a lot of lemon flavor from the zest as well. Just wash it really well, and we're going to grate it in. And then I'm going to use some juice as well. This is a really big lemon. So I put one lemon on there. I'm going to dress it, and as long as it's not dry, probably won't need to add any more. You want to dress it almost like you're going to dress a coleslaw, okay? So a little more dressing than you would on a salad, but a coleslaw has a nice amount of dressing to it. You do want that moisture in there. We're going to add some olive oil as well. I'll start off with about a tablespoon and a half, and then again, we'll see where we are. Season it now as well. The cheese is going to have quite a bit of salt, so I probably don't need to add too much salt to that. If you want a little black pepper, you can put that on there as well. Yeah. And we're just give it a toss.
And this is something that could be done in advance, right? So as a caregiver, you might not be able to have time to kind of make everything all at once, so doing it in batches, right? So I'm sure this could sit in the fridge for a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah, you can definitely do this in advance. What's nice is it's kind of like a 2-for-1 meal too. Like this is a nice, delicious salad, slaw on its own. So you can use, you know, some as like a side dish as a salad, and then use some for the stuffing. So.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right, so mixing it up just until we coat everything. And if, again, we have to readjust the seasoning or any more of the dressing, any more of the liquid.
And I think I've seen bagged Brussels sprouts, like
already shaved,
already,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah. Like don't make it complicated for yourself. If there's things that are already pre-chopped, pre-sliced, slaw. There you go. Take advantage of that for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you know, really, especially for any vegetable or fruit, make pre-packaged your friend. Okay. We talk a lot about this in terms of buying frozen. I mean, in this case, it's not frozen, but anything that's like pre-chopped, pre-washed, and there's so many options these days, which are great. And you can even find them on sale. So kind of look out for those to make the job of cooking a little bit less strenuous.
Yeah. Okay, so stuffing's done. Slaw's good, ready to go. Now we're gonna make our little rolls. You see that I've changed the board. So anytime this is for everyone, even if you're a caregiver or not, this is just for yourself. Food safety is obviously very, very important, right? So Cross-contamination, anytime we're working with raw meats, especially raw poultry, we do want to make sure that we avoid any potential risks, okay? So with poultry, I do not like using a wooden cutting board. If you have a wooden cutting board, use it for your vegetables, use it for cooked things if you want. But just because of these food grade plastic boards are much easier to clean, they even come color coded. So that's a great idea. You know, I'll use my yellow one just for my chicken. Maybe I have a blue one, I'll just use that for fish, whatever it may be. All right, so for the turkey, let's do some rolling. So I have a little piece of turkey breast here. I'll show you one, and then we'll move on to the rest. So, turkey here, Steph.
Yes.
Do you season it? So take a little bit of salt, and Steph, if you don't mind, putting about a tablespoon of that slaw and just drop it in the middle. Don't just from a height, so you can kind of like, or put it in my hand. There you go. Maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. We're not contaminating.
Exactly right. I don't want this, even more than that.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Get it in there.
We didn't rehearse this part.
No, we didn't. Perfect. Beautiful. Fantastic. I don't want the spoon to touch the turkey as well, and then it's going to go back into that as well, right? So always any point of potential risk, you do want to keep an eye on and just, you know, avoid that. Okay, so I have a little bit of that stuffing inside, and what I'm going to do is almost like you're making a burrito. Pretty simple. You know, go over with the edge and just roll it until you get to the end. That's a roulade, okay? Now, if I were to bake this like this, I might want to toothpick it, and then you can roast it in the oven, do whatever you want. You can even do these ahead of time and keep them like this a day in advance in the refrigerator, absolutely fine, and then you can roast it off, okay? Let's do one more.
Sure. And so really the reason that it's so important to have food safety is because some cancer patients might have a weakened immune system, okay? And the immune system usually protects yourself from infection, okay? And so there's a greater risk of a serious illness to develop if you're eating food that may have bacteria or germs. So for example, raw meat going into, let's say, the slaw might contaminate it that way. So anyone who's receiving chemotherapy, radiation, marrow or stem cell transplant, it's really important to make sure that you're being food safe, especially because you want to avoid food poisoning.
Look at that. She's tasking, doing an activity, and talking at the same time.
How do you incorporate the steak?
Oh, you'll see. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. You can, and you can put that's a good point, though. You can put sage, thyme, any herbs, anything you want inside is just going to give more flavor, infuse it, right?
And then in terms of the turkey, right, we're using a protein. And so again, both for caregivers, for patients, really important to get enough protein, especially, I would say, at every meal. And this is what's helping to, build your muscles, give you energy. It also provides vitamins and minerals that are really important, like iron, zinc, vitamin B12, especially the animal proteins.
Awesome. Okay, so first part done. We can, throw this in as is, roast it in the oven. Really easy. But we want to take that second element into it, and considering, this is pretty neutral. There's not going to be a lot of intense aromas, but even roasting it in the oven, you are going to get some aromas out there. We want to add sort of another barrier, another level of protection. And, going back to one of our favorite tools is parchment paper. So cooking things in parchment paper, we've often done fish in parchment paper. It does help to reduce the amount of aromas considerably, and it keeps a lot of those aromas, but flavors too, inside that package. So we're going to use it as a tool for the turkey as well. A little easier way to roll it is I just run it under a little bit of water and just crunch it up a little bit.
Squeeze it out.
And then we'll unravel it, just like this. Like that, and then it'll just make it a little bit easier to roll. Okay, so let me do one here. Okay, so I have the turkey roll in the middle. Steph, do you want to reach over me?
Yes.
grab a little bit of that olive oil
Yeah.
and then squirt a little bit on top.
I'm gonna go a little bit.
Give
More?
the dietitian the olive oil bottle.
More?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That's good. And then hand me just like a bunch of those leaves. Okay, so now I'll put a little bit of olive oil on top. Yeah, even more, even more.
Oh.
Just put them right over here. And what I'm going to do with the sage leaves is now we're getting a little chefy. You don't have to do this, but I'm just taking the sage leaves and I'm just wrapping them over the top like this. It's going to give it some nice flavor.
Can you chop it up in the
You
vegetable
can chop, absolutely.
concoction
Yes,
as well?
you can definitely put it inside the mixture as well, right?
Yeah.
To flavor it.
Yeah, and depending on who is eating this in the end, like whether they have some taste changes, fresh herbs is a really great way to boost the flavor. But if they're kind of offended by these strong flavors, then kind of laying it down a little bit and making it more mild. So again, just kind of as a guideline for what to do.
Okay, so looks really nice already. We have the sage on top. Now we're going to take the parchment and we're going to use that as a roll as well. So we're going to kind of just firmly kind of put it into place. If there's any like uneven pieces, you can kind of like squish it together. And then we'll gently roll this around just until we meet the end, again like a burrito. And then we have these edges here. And what we want to do is take the edges and slowly, just gently push it together so that again, any of those like smaller pieces kind of firms up and comes together like this,
Great.
right? And then we're gonna roll and pinch, roll and pinch, roll and pinch.
Technique.
So yeah, it's not as hard. I mean, it's not as hard as it looks. You're just kind of rolling it and pinching it so that it's tightening up a little bit, right? So see how now it's almost like a nice little package, yeah, or like a cracker. I call it like a Christmas cracker, right? And then we take the edges and we just tuck it underneath. We don't have to do anything fancy. And then we have our nice little turkey roll ready to go, right? Maybe get a smaller pan for this, but we'll put one on there.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. And I'll do the rest.
And so I guess you could use other types of meats as well.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
You could do chicken.
You can do chicken. This is it's in Italy. You'll see it done often with swordfish
Yeah.
or different types of very firm fish. Little olive oil, please.
Yep.
All right, you get creative, and it doesn't have to be. The point of it too is it does not have to be difficult, right? So if that means I buy a jar of pesto, already most of the work is done for me, and I just spread it inside and roll it up. They have nice little condiments and roasted peppers already done for you. Chop those up, put them inside. Make it really easy for yourself.
And can you freeze this, or like do you have to cook it first and then freeze?
No, I don't see why not. Yeah, you can absolutely freeze it. Yeah, as long as you keep the air out. So I would probably put these into like a Ziploc after, and then you can freeze them for sure. And then those little pieces, excess pieces, kind of tuck it underneath, and it gives it like a little
That's great.
bed to stick. All right, do the last one. Cut this one short, but that's okay. It'll still work. All right, little olive oil, sage on top, beautiful. The olive oil just helps to make it stick. Acts as a glue, and turkey itself is very, very lean.
Yeah.
So it adds a little bit of moisture, a little bit of fat to it. Beautiful. All right, last one. Done. I'm rushing this one. I'm just kind of throwing it over. Okay. Same thing. Roll it up. Tighten the ends. And these are small little pieces, so you can see how I'm making them almost like individual portions. But I can make a few of them and line them all up inside. I can probably do like 3 inside and then roll it up, and then I got a nice one that I can cook. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Yeah, freezer if you don't want to do it right away. Fridge if you want to make it the next day. Otherwise, that goes into the oven, 400 degrees for about 25 minutes. Now, cooking. Sorry, let me turn around for a second. So cooking poultry, is obviously very important as well, that you're cooking it to safe internal temperature. So for poultry, we're looking at 165. Now, this is very, very thin, so it does not take that long to cook. But the stuffing inside is also very important because that's also come into contact, right? So if we are probing this, we're going straight to the middle, and we're making sure that it reads 165, okay? Yeah, for me, 25 minutes, but you know, everyone's a little bit different. So you just want to check. Always use one as like kind of the tester. If they're all around the same size, you can use one as a tester. If you're good, you can take them out. In the oven. That was a quick 25 minutes. Right.
There we go.
All done. So this is what it looks like. And so all the juices sort of stay inside. A lot of the aroma, I mean, you're going to smell it, but it's not going to be as intense.
Yeah.
By any means.
And definitely, you know, you could always open a window, kind of let the smells get out of the house that way as well. And, you know, if you're cooking for somebody, always, you know, maybe do it when they're not home, or so kind of to save on the intense aromas from them.
All right, so gently open this up. And
Voila.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but we have a nice little turkey roll with the sage, beautifully cooked on top. And then if we want, we can slice this into our pinwheels.
Yeah, so those pinwheels, you know, and this could be obviously part of like a large meal, but I don't see why you can't also serve this as a snack or a kind of an appetizer in
Absolutely.
advance.
Yeah, if you want to do this for, like, this is a nice little party snack as well. And so I don't know if you can see the stuffing inside. Sit with the sage on the top.
Kind of looks like sushi rolls.
Almost looks like sushi rolls. All right, that's it. Gravy on top. And that is our turkey involtini.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Yay.
All right.